First contact and broken trust. The vast emptiness of space had always made Earth feel isolated, a blue marble suspended in the black void. That isolation ended on a crisp October morning, when the Valkyrie scout ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond the Moon's orbit. Commander Elena Rodriguez was on duty at the International Space Defense Command when the alarms first sounded. Unidentified object, massive energy signature, speed beyond anything human technology could achieve. Her first thought was that it was a glitch in the system. Her second was that humanity had just become part of something much larger than itself. "All stations, maintain positions," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "First contact protocols are now in effect." This is not a drill. The Valkyrie ship was elegant, its silver-blue hull flowing in curves that seemed to defy conventional engineering. It made no aggressive moves, instead broadcasting a simple mathematical sequence on open frequencies, the universal language of prime numbers, establishing their intelligence and peaceful intent. Within hours, the world's leaders gathered virtually while scientists worked to establish rudimentary communication. The Valkyrie, it seemed, had been observing humanity for decades. They claimed to be scouts for a vast coalition of species known as the Galactic Conclave, searching for promising civilizations to bring into their fold. Captain Nix, the Valkyrie commander, was invited to Earth with a small delegation. When they stepped off their shuttle at the specially prepared landing zone in Geneva, humans got their first look at an alien species. The Valkyrie stood nearly 7 feet tall, with slender bodies covered in what looked like fine, iridescent scales. Their four-fingered hands moved with deliberate grace, and their eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangle on their faces, blinked independently of one another. "We bring greetings from the 217 species of the Galactic Conclave," Nix announced through a translator device. "Your world has shown great promise, and we offer friendship." For 6 months, relations progressed smoothly. The Valkyrie shared limited technological information, nothing that would dramatically alter humanity's development, but enough to tantalize. Medical advancements that extended human lifespans by decades. Energy systems that reduced pollution by 30%. Cultural exchanges that broadened human understanding of art, music, and philosophy. Dr. Amir Patel, Earth's lead xenoanthropologist, spent more time with the Valkyrie than anyone else. While politicians celebrated the new era of peace and prosperity, Amir noticed concerning patterns in Valkyrie behavior. "They're studying us," he told Commander Rodriguez during a secure meeting, 6 months after first contact. "Not as equals, but as specimens. They document our responses, our adaptability, our resource consumption. I don't think they're being fully transparent about their intentions." Rodriguez had harbored similar suspicions. "Keep digging, but quietly. I'll see what I can find on their ship communications." The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Lydia Chen, a 16-year-old programming prodigy, had been invited to a cultural exchange with young Valkyrie apprentices. While showing them Earth's digital systems, she noticed a subtle backdoor program, installing itself through the translator devices. Rather than reporting it immediately, she wrote a counter-program that piggybacked on the Valkyrie code, giving her access to their databases. What she found changed everything. "The Valkyrie aren't scouts," Lydia explained to the emergency council assembled in ISDC headquarters. "They're assessment officers. Earth has been classified as a resource-rich development zone. That's their designation for planets they plan to exploit." She displayed translated documents showing the conclave's detailed surveys of Earth's mineral deposits, biodiversity, and water resources. Earth wasn't being welcomed as an equal, it was being inventoried. Commander Rodriguez took immediate action. Effective immediately, all Valkyrie personnel are restricted to the Geneva compound. All technology sharing is suspended pending investigation of these allegations. Captain Nix protested, "Of course. This is a misunderstanding. The young one has misinterpreted scientific surveys." "Then you won't mind waiting while we verify these misinterpretations," Rodriguez replied coldly. The Valkyrie attempted to send a transmission to their home fleet that night. The signal was jammed by newly installed countermeasures developed by Earth scientists who had been quietly studying Valkyrie technology. 2 days later, 3 massive conclave ships appeared in Earth's orbit. Far larger than the scout vessel, their sleek designs couldn't hide their obvious weapons arrays. "This is High Commander Vex of the Galactic Conclave," came the transmission. "Release our assessment team immediately and prepare for integration proceedings. Your suspicious behavior will be noted but forgiven if you comply promptly." President Okafor of the African Union, speaking for the United Earth Council, responded, "We will release your team when we have assurances that Earth's sovereignty will be respected. We have evidence of your true intentions regarding our planet." High Commander Vex's voice betrayed no emotion. "Your primitive understanding has led to confusion. We offer peace and advancement. Resistance would be unproductive. We will send representatives to discuss terms." The conclave representatives arrived with an honor guard of 8 Valkyrie soldiers in gleaming ceremonial armor. They were met by a human delegation led by President Okafor, Commander Rodriguez, and Dr. Patel. The meeting took place in the Grand Hall of the United Nations, now the seat of the United Earth Council. Ambassador Trell, a being with multiple tentacle-like appendages and skin that shifted colors with their emotions, presented a document labeled Terms of Peaceful Integration. The conclave offers Earth protection and guidance. Trell announced, their skin cycling through confident shades of gold and blue. In exchange, we require only reasonable access to excess planetary resources and oversight of technological advancement to ensure safe development. Dr. Patel studied the document carefully, noting clauses about resource allocation quotas, developmental supervision, and security integration. The terms would effectively reduce Earth to a client state, with humans working their own minds for conclave benefit. "These terms are unacceptable," President Okafor stated firmly. "Earth is not offering its surrender." Ambassador Trell's skin flushed a deep purple of surprise. "This is not surrender. This is standard procedure for developing worlds. All species benefit from conclave guidance. We respectfully decline," Commander Rodriguez added. "Perhaps you can present terms that recognize Earth's sovereignty and right to self-determination." For 3 days, the conclave representatives presented modified proposals. Each one contained the same core elements of control, simply hidden beneath layers of diplomatic language. Each one was politely but firmly rejected by the human delegation. On the 4th day, Ambassador Trell's frustration was evident in the angry red pulses rippling across their skin. "No developing world has ever rejected conclave protection. Your behavior is unprecedented and concerning. Perhaps that should tell you something about your standard terms," Dr. Patel suggested. High Commander Vex joined the negotiations personally on the 5th day. Taller than the Valkyrie and covered in chitinous plates, Vex exuded authority and menace. "I don't think you understand your situation," Vex stated bluntly. "The Conclave has classified Earth as a strategic resource center. Integration will proceed. We prefer it to be peaceful, but we are prepared for alternatives." President Okafor remained unruffled. "Before you consider alternatives, perhaps you should be aware that we've been busy during the past 6 months." Commander Rodriguez activated a display showing a network of orbital platforms that had been secretly assembled using modified Valkyrie technology. "We've adapted your propulsion systems, shield technology, and energy weapons," she explained. "Not to your level of advancement, certainly, but enough to make any military action against Earth extremely costly." High Commander Vex studied the display, mandibles clicking in agitation. "Impossible. You couldn't have reversed engineered our technology so quickly." "You underestimated human ingenuity," Lydia Chen said, speaking up for the first time in the negotiations. "Your systems are elegant but predictable once you understand the underlying principles." Additionally, Dr. Patel added, "We've prepared data packets about your attempted subjugation of Earth, ready to broadcast to every species in the galaxy using your own communication frequencies. We've discovered not all Conclave members are aware of your resource acquisition methods. Vex's eyes narrowed. You're bluffing. You couldn't possibly. We also, President Okafor interrupted, have your survey team in protective custody, including Captain Nix, who has provided valuable insights into Conclave politics. The revelation hung in the air. The humans had outmaneuvered them at every turn, turning 6 months of supposed friendship into a comprehensive strategic advantage. What do you want? Vex finally asked, voice tight with controlled rage. President Okafor smiled diplomatically. True partnership, honest exchange, and most importantly, recognition of Earth's full sovereignty and self-determination. Shall we discuss those terms tomorrow? As the Conclave representatives left to confer among themselves, Commander Rodriguez turned to her team. They'll be back with threats. Prepare all defense systems and our contingency measures. Dr. Patil asked quietly. Rodriguez nodded grimly. The underground bunkers are ready. If they decide to attack rather than negotiate, humanity will survive to fight back. We won't be conquered or colonized. Across the globe, humans waited anxiously for the Conclave's response. After generations of dreaming about contact with alien civilizations, the reality had proven far more complex and dangerous than anyone had imagined. But one thing had become clear in those tense days of negotiations. Humanity would not surrender its future without a fight. High in orbit, the Conclave ships repositioned themselves, weapons systems powering up. Earth's newly constructed defense platforms tracked their movements, ready to respond. The next 24 hours would determine humanity's place in the galaxy. The stage was set for either a new beginning or the first interstellar war involving Earth. The human counterproposal. Dawn broke over Geneva with an unnatural stillness. The Conclave ships had maintained their positions overnight, weapons charged but inactive. Earth's defense platforms mirrored this stance, ready but waiting. The diplomatic compound bustled with activity as the human delegation prepared for what could be the most consequential meeting in human history. Commander Rodriguez reviewed the latest intelligence reports with her staff. The Conclave vessels have been communicating extensively with their home systems. We've intercepted fragments, but their encryption has adapted to our methods. Lydia Chen looked up from her workstation. Not entirely. I've decoded portions suggesting disagreement among the Conclave leadership. The word precedent appears frequently. They're worried about other worlds following our example if they let us negotiate successfully, Dr. Patil theorized. Exploitation is easier when the exploited believe they have no choice. President Okafor entered the room, accompanied by representatives from every major Earth nation. It's time. Our counterproposal is ready. The Grand Hall had been reconfigured. Instead of the humans sitting across from the Conclave representatives as supplicants, the room now featured a circular arrangement with equal positions for all parties. A subtle but unmistakable message that Earth would not be subordinate. High Commander Vex entered with Ambassador Trell and 4 other species representatives the humans hadn't met before. Their body language, stiff, controlled, suggested tension. The Conclave has considered your situation, Vex began, the translation device rendering his clicks and chirps into crisp English. We present our final integration proposal. A holographic document appeared in the center of the table. Ambassador Trell's skin flickered with confidence as they explained. We have made unprecedented concessions. Earth may maintain its own governance under Conclave oversight. Resource quotas have been reduced by 30%. A technology-sharing program will be implemented with appropriate safeguards. President Okafor studied the document without touching it. And military control. Earth Defense Forces will be incorporated into the Conclave Protection Fleet, Vex stated, for mutual security. Commander Rodriguez laughed softly. With Conclave officers commanding our ships, I presume. Standard procedure, Trell replied smoothly. All integrated worlds follow this protocol. President Okafor nodded thoughtfully, then said, We reject these terms. The Conclave representative stiffened. One of the new aliens, a being with crystalline growths covering its body, emitted a high-pitched sound that the translators couldn't process. "You test our patience," Vex warned, mandibles clicking rapidly. "The conclave has been generous beyond precedent." "Perhaps," Dr. Patel interjected, "because this is the first time you've encountered a species that recognized your generosity for what it really is, colonization through diplomacy." Before Vex could respond, President Okafor continued, "However, Earth has prepared its own proposal for relations with the Galactic Conclave." She gestured to Lydia, who activated Earth's presentation. A new hologram replaced the conclave document, showing a different type of agreement entirely. "The Earth Sovereignty Accord," President Okafor explained, "a framework for genuine partnership rather than subjugation." Dr. Patel walked the stunned conclave representatives through the key points. Earth maintains complete sovereignty and control of its resources, with mutually beneficial trade agreements. Technology exchange programs operate in both directions, with Earth sharing our unique innovations. "What innovations could Earth possibly offer the conclave?" Trell asked, skin flickering with dismissive purple tones. Commander Rodriguez smiled. "In 6 months, we adapted your propulsion technology to increase efficiency by 22%. Your translators now operate with 15% greater accuracy thanks to Lydia's algorithms, and Dr. Patel's team has developed medical applications for your cellular regeneration technology that your own scientists overlooked." She activated a display showing side-by-side comparisons of original Valkyrie technology and human adaptations. The improvements were subtle but unmistakable. "Humans excel at innovation," President Okafor continued. "We see patterns others miss. We find creative solutions born from necessity. The conclave has relied on technological stagnation and exploitation for too long. We offer a new approach, genuine collaboration." The crystalline being leaned forward, examining the technical specifications with evident interest. It communicated something that made Vex's posture stiffen even further. Additionally, President Okafor continued, "Earth proposes a revision to the conclave charter regarding developing worlds. No species should be exploited or controlled against their will." "Impossible," Vex declared. "The conclave has operated successfully for millennia. You cannot simply." "We can, and we are," Commander Rodriguez interrupted. "And we've taken precautions to ensure our voice is heard." Lydia activated another display, showing a network of communication satellites positioned throughout the solar system. "These are programmed to broadcast our experiences and this meeting to every world in conclave space if communication ceases. Your methods of integration would become public knowledge." A heavy silence fell over the room. The implications were clear. Earth had created a dead man's switch that would expose the conclave's predatory practices. Ambassador Trell's skin had turned an ashen gray. "You destabilize galactic peace over pride." "We would stand for justice and sovereignty," President Okafor corrected. "Not just for Earth, but for all worlds that have been exploited under the guise of protection." The crystalline being made a series of rapid clicks and flashes that seemed to agitate Vex. The translator struggled to keep up. "The Myrex collective finds merit in examining. Earth proposal. Unprecedented approach. Potential benefits." Vex silenced the being with a gesture, but the damage was done. Dissent had emerged publicly among the conclave representatives. "We will review your proposal," Vex conceded reluctantly. "The full conclave council must be consulted on such an unusual situation." As the conclave representatives withdrew to their ships, the human delegation remained in the chamber. The tension had not dissipated, but a new emotion had entered the mix. Hope. "They're fracturing," Dr. Patel observed. "I suspect the conclave isn't as unified as they want us to believe." "Every empire has its cracks," President Okafor agreed. "Our job is to widen them enough to secure our freedom without starting a war." 3 days passed without word from the conclave ships. Earth remained on high alert, defense systems primed. Then, without warning, 5 more conclave vessels arrived in Earth orbit. These were different, ornate, ceremonial craft bearing the markings of various conclave species. "We're being scanned extensively," Commander Rodriguez reported, "but no weapons are powering up." A transmission request came through on all frequencies. When accepted, a diverse group of aliens appeared on screen. 12 different species arranged in a semicircle. "This is the High Council of the Galactic Conclave," announced a being composed seemingly of pure light contained within a crystalline shell. "We have reviewed Earth's unprecedented proposal and the actions of our integration team." The light being pulsed briefly before continuing. "In 12,000 years of conclave history, no developing world has ever challenged our methods or proposed alternatives. It is refreshing." Murmurs of surprise spread through the human command center. "The conclave has grown complacent," the light being admitted, "perhaps even exploitative in ways that contradict our founding principles. Earth's defiance has forced us to reconsider our approach." Commander Rodriguez exchanged skeptical glances with President Okafor. This seemed too easy. The light being continued, "We propose a compromise. Earth will be granted provisional membership with full sovereignty. A joint commission will review our integration protocols for all developing worlds. In exchange, humanity will share its unique perspective and innovations with the conclave." "And our resources?" President Okafor asked pointedly. "Trade agreements will be negotiated on equal terms," the light being assured them. "No quotas, no mandates." Dr. Patel leaned close to President Okafor. "This is unprecedented. Either they're genuinely reconsidering their methods, or they're playing a longer game," she finished his thought. "Either way, it's progress." The negotiations that followed lasted weeks. Every clause, every term was scrutinized by both sides. Earth insisted on verification protocols, transparency guarantees, and mutual oversight. The conclave, to everyone's surprise, accepted most of these conditions with minimal resistance. On the day the Earth Conclave Accord was finally signed, a celebration was held in orbit aboard the neutral platform hastily constructed between Earth's defense grid and the conclave vessels. Representatives from both sides mingled cautiously, studying one another with a mixture of curiosity and lingering suspicion. Commander Rodriguez found herself speaking with a Valkyrie scientist who had not been part of the original contact team. "Your species confounds prediction," the Valkyrie admitted. "Most developing worlds are eager for our technology, our protection. They never question the terms. Humans have a long history of questioning authority," Rodriguez replied, "and detecting exploitation disguised as generosity." The Valkyrie's head tilted. "There are factions within the conclave that have long pushed for reform. Your defiance gave them the leverage they needed to challenge centuries of policy." "Happy to help," Rodriguez said dryly. "You should know," the Valkyrie continued, lowering their voice, "that not all in the conclave accept this new arrangement. Some believe accommodating Earth sets a dangerous precedent." "We're counting on it," Rodriguez replied with a smile. "Precedents can change galaxies." Later, in the secure conference room beneath Geneva, Earth's leadership assessed their position. "We've gained time and recognition," President Okafor summarized. "But we must remain vigilant. The conclave has existed for millennia. Their thinking won't change overnight. Our defense systems continue to advance," Commander Rodriguez reported. "And with access to conclave scientific databases, our technological growth is accelerating exponentially." Lydia Chen, recently appointed as Earth's youngest ever technology ambassador, added, "6 other developing worlds have already contacted us privately, requesting information about our negotiations. The ripples are spreading." Dr. Patel smiled thoughtfully. "In trying to quietly harvest Earth's resources, the conclave inadvertently awakened something far more valuable and dangerous to their old order. Humanity's greatest resource was never our minerals or water," President Okafor agreed. "It was our defiance, our refusal to accept comfortable subjugation when freedom requires risk." As night fell over Earth, its new orbital defense platforms gleamed in the sunlight, while conclave ships maintained their distance. The stars no longer represented isolation but connection and challenge. Humanity had taken its first steps into a complex galactic community, not as supplicants or subjects, but as equals demanding respect. Within the vast chambers of the Conclave High Council, debates raged about the Earth approach and its implications for galactic governance. Change had been set in motion by a species that refused to say yes to exploitation disguised as peace, offering instead a vision of genuine partnership that many had forgotten was possible. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had made sure of that.